Hello students, welcome to the AriserTalent. As you know, we are talking about the transportation in plants. In my previous lecture, I have taught you how the roots absorb water and minerals. Okay, so here as we are talking about the transportation in plants, then we have already studied about the first process of that transportation, that is absorption of water and minerals by the plants. Now we are going to talk about the second process, that is ascent of sap. Ascent of sap means upward movement of water. So next here we will talk about the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap or upward movement of water. Okay, in our previous lecture we talked about absorption of water and minerals by the xylem, vessels and tracheids. Now we will talk about the how these water move upwards to the different parts of the plant. So here many theories are given to understand these process of ascent of sap, but only two theories are famous. What are they? They are root pressure theory, and another is transpiration, pull or cohesion tension theory. So first of all, we are going to talk about root pressure theory. Root pressure theory, what happens when the root absorb water and minerals? Here let's come to the diagram. When the root absorb water and mineral, that was the first process, then root exert pressure. That pressure is known as root pressure. Okay, and that pressure is exerted by the metabolic activities in the roots. Okay, so now what happens? This root pressure allows the movement of water to the upward direction. Means when the roots exert pressure due to the metabolic activities in the roots, then they put the water to the upward direction. That process is known as root pressure. Okay, and this theory is known as root pressure theory. Generally, this theory is capable or is applicable only for the small plants like the herb. Okay, let's talk about root pressure theory. What is root pressure theory? Roots absorb water and exerts a pressure. Which pressure? That is known as root pressure, and exerts a pressure which push the water upward. Okay, this root pressure which occurs in the tracheiry elements. What are the tracheiry elements which are present? Tracheiry elements means the xylem vessels and tracheids. Okay, the root pressure is the result of what? Metabolic activities. Okay, this root pressure is the result of metabolic activities, and this theory is especially made for the herbs only, means small plants. This theory is applicable only for small plants small plants like herbs. Okay, so this is all about the root pressure theory. Come to the diagram. Here, as I have already explained you that water and minerals are absorbed. This is the first process that the water and minerals are absorbed by the roots. Now, these roots, due to the metabolic activities, these roots create a pressure that is known as root pressure, and then they push the water upwards. Okay, and generally this process is applicable in the herbs only. Now, if we talk about the tall plants, then definitely every whether it is the small plant or it is the big plant, every plant needs water for the different activities. Okay, and as we all know that the water is used as raw material for the photosynthesis. So here, if we talk about the tall plant, then another theory works here, that is known as transpiration pull theory. Now, what happens? Then water is pulled to upper parts of the plant by the pressure which is exerted by these leaves, that is known as transpiration pull. Okay, when these leaves which are present in the plant exert the pressure, that is known as transpiration pulls. By this pressure, this pressure pulls the water upward to the different parts, and this theory is applicable for the tall plants only. Okay, now next we are going to talk about transpiration pull or cohesion theory. Do you know this transpiration pull and cohesion theory generally works during the date period. Okay, actually what is this cohesion tension? That is the attraction between the water molecule. Okay, force between the force due to the attraction of water molecules. Next, we are going to talk about transpiration pull. Transpiration pull or cohesion tension theory. Okay. So, what is that theory? According to this theory, leaves of the plant or trees, or here we can mention tall plants as well. So, according to this theory, leaves of the plant exert or create a pressure, or we can say let me do it in the simple way. According to this theory, leaves of the plant pulls the water present in the xylem to upward, okay, to upward direction by transpiration pull. Okay, what happens, as we all know, leaves are present in the plant, so they create a pressure and they pull the water upward to the leaves. Okay, here we can see that these leaves which are present here in the plant, they exert a pressure that is known, they create a pressure actually which is known as transpiration pull. Why this is known as transpiration pull? Because we all know that the leaves perform the process of transpiration. And what is transpiration? Transpiration is the process of losing water in the form of water vapor. Okay, so here if the leaf will lose the water in the form of water vapor, definitely it will create a pressure, it will create a pressure which will pull the water upward, because once if it will lose the water, definitely it needs the water to do the process of photosynthesis, then it pulls the water upwards, and this is the reason this theory is known as transpiration pull. Okay, so generally this process takes place during the day only, because transpiration takes place during the day. Okay, so here we must say that the transpiration pull or cohesion tension. Cohesion tension means attraction between the water molecules occurs during the day. Okay, so this is all about the second process, that is transpiration pull or cohesion tension theory. Next, we are going to talk about the third step of transportation of water and minerals, that is third step is transpiration. Okay, so now we are going to talk about third process, that is transpiration. Third process is transpiration. Now what is transpiration? Transpiration means loss of water from the leaves in the form of water vapor. Okay, the loss of water from the leaves, in the form of water vapor. Okay, generally this transpiration takes place by the complete plant body, but especially it is performed by the stomata which are present in the leaves. Okay, so most of the part of the transpiration occurs by the or takes place in the leaves by the stomata. Okay, so here let me mention most of the transpiration or most of the process of transpiration takes place or is done by stomata present in the leaves, and some part of transpiration is done by the other parts of the plant body present in the leaves. Okay, so now here we discuss transpiration, that is the process of loss of water from the leaves. Now what is the function of this transpiration? As I told you, here come to the diagram. As I told you that the leaves performs the function of transpiration. So what is the benefit of that actually? So once if it will lose the water, then only it will get the fresh water again. Okay, so this is the benefit of having the process of transpiration. Another benefit is that it regulates the temperature of the plant body. Okay, so these are the actually functions of the transpiration. Okay, next we are going to talk about the functions of transpiration. Functions of transpiration. So what is the first function? It helps the absorption of water in the upward, or we can say it helps the movement of water in the upward direction, because it creates the transpiration pull. Okay, so let me write the first function, that it helps in the absorption It helps in the absorption. It helps in the absorption and upward movement of water. Upward movement of water, and other is it regulates the temperature. It regulates, it helps in temperature regulation. Okay, so this is all about the process of transpiration. So here let's come to the diagram. As I told you that the transportation in plants generally completes in two ways, or it is of two type. One is transportation of water and minerals. If we talk about the transportation of water and minerals, generally it completes in the three processes. One is what? One was absorption of water and minerals by the root. Second was transportation of this water and mineral to the other part, means upward movement of water, that is ascent of sap, and third one is transpiration. So let's talk about all these three topics or three kinds of transportation in one diagram. First of all, roots absorb water and minerals. Okay, then this water and mineral is carried to the different part by the transpiration pull or root pressure. In small plants generally it is carried by the root pressure, but in the tall plants the movement of the upward movement of water takes place by the process of transpiration pulls, that is generally occurs by the these leaves. This transpiration pull is created by the leaves. Third process is transpiration. Transpiration means loss of water from the leaves. Okay, and what is the benefit or what is the function of this transpiration? First of all, it helps in the absorption of water, okay, and upward movement of water, because I told you that transpiration pulls create the pressure to to pull the water upwards. Another is it regulates the temperature here in the plant. So it was all about the transportation of water and minerals in the plants. Next we will talk about the transportation of food materials in the plants. Yes, here we have talked about the what? We have talked about the transportation of water and minerals. Now we are going to talk about the transportation of food materials. Here students, I am talking about the transportation in plants. Okay, as I told you earlier that transportation in plants is completes in two processes. One is transportation of water and minerals, which we have already studied. Now we are going to talk about the transportation of food material. We all know that these leaves help to synthesize the food for the plant. Okay, now if these leaves are preparing food, definitely this food should be transported to the different part, and this process is known as translocation. Okay, come to the point. Transportation of food material, which is also known as translocation. Okay. So first of all, we all know that the transfer of food, leaves are the main site of synthesis of food in the plants. Let me mention. Generally, sorry. Leaves synthesize food for the plant. Okay, so the transport of food from the leaf to the different part is known as translocation. Transport of synthesized food from the leaves or we can say site of synthesis to the site of need. Site of need means different parts of the plant. Site of needs is known as or is termed as translocation. Okay. Generally, what happens, as I told you that the transport of synthesized food from the site of synthesis to the site of need is termed as translocation. Now, it can be the movement of food can be upward or downward. It depends of the need of the plant. The movement or the transportation may be upward or downward direction depending on the need of the plant. Okay, it all depend on the need of the plant. Generally, sugar and amino acids are synthesized and they are supplied to the different parts of the plant by the process of translocation. Okay, now what happens here, we can see that phloem, as I told you that the transportation in plants occurs by the takes place by the vascular tissues, that is xylem and phloem. Okay, so generally xylem and phloem both are present in the plants. Xylem helps in the transportation of water and minerals, but phloem helps in the transportation of food materials. So here we can see that the phloem is found just next to the xylem. Okay, they both are together there in the different parts of the plant. So here we have already studied about the transportation of water through the xylem. Now we are talking about the transportation of food material which is synthesized in the leaves to the different parts of the plant, and generally this process takes place by the help of phloem. So thus we can say that the xylem and amino acids sugar and amino acids which are generally synthesized as a food from the leaves, they are supplied to the different parts of the plant by the help of this phloem. Clear? Let's come to the next point. Sugar, amino acids and other substances are translocated by the help of phloem, are transport by the help of phloem. Okay, generally phloem has 4 different parts: sieve tube, companion tubes, companion cells, okay, and phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma, which we have already studied in class 9. Now let's come to the diagram so that I can explain you the mechanism. Now what happens, as we all know that phloem is divided into 4 parts: sieve tube, companion cells phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Now here the food which is synthesized in the leaves, that is carried to the sieve tube. Okay, then it goes to the sieve tube and along with the water. And here sieve tube companion cells which are next to the sieve tubes, they help to transport the food material to different parts of the plant. So this is the complete mechanism of transport of food materials into the plants. Clear? So hope, as I told you, the transportation in plants is clear to you, that transportation in plants generally takes place in the two methods. They are transportation of water and minerals and transportation of food and food materials. Transportation of water and minerals is followed by the three processes. What were they? Absorption of water and minerals, then ascent of sap, and third is transpiration. After that, we studied the next process, that is transportation of food material. So here the leaves are the site of the synthesis of food. Then this synthesized food is carried to the different parts of the plant by the phloem only. Okay, so thus we can say that the xylem and phloem, which are the vascular tissues, help in the transportation of water and food material in the plants. So here transportation in plants gets completed. Thank you.